It's the Dadnarok After Show. Now, here's Chris and Sean.
Hello, once again. This is the Halo After Show. This is Sean.
And it's Chris.
And tonight we're talking about episode 5 of season 2 of Halo, entitled Aleria, which rhymes with malaria.
Yeah, that's not going to confuse with malaria. So that's be always a good start.
That's the planet they arrive on, and that's where the events of this episode take place. Who are we? Tell me who we are.
Well, we are lost on malaria. No, no, we're Dadnarok guys. You know us by now. We go ahead and we give you our honest opinions on whatever show we're covering. And right now it's Halo. We loved it last season. I think we're both enjoying it more this season than we did last.
I am, yeah.
And we're fully interactive. You can tell I don't do this very often. We're fully interactive. Let us know what you think. We'll bring your comment up as we go along, and we're trying to hit that 500 subscription mark. Yes, that mark there. So if you guys can go ahead and help us get to that number, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, this episode of Halo, you and I have probably slightly different opinions of this episode, but you go ahead first. What's your overall opinion?
I was bored out of my mind.
Okay.
It was predictable the way it started because it was kind of how we thought Riz was going to die, and she didn't when she went ahead and made an emotional decision that she went and made when she had her actual pellet in, when she went back for Vanek, his body, who was already passed.
Right.
And then, quite frankly, I don't care about Kessler. I know it's messed up. I don't care. I mean, the little nugget they give us later on, where he is, I can see what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
But frankly, we wasted a whole episode of Master Chief sulking, sitting back, basically, licking his wounds and drilling Halsey over why him or whatever, the situation was.
Yeah.
When we could have actually spent this time, like I wanted more Siege, more time on Reach. I didn't want the glassing of Reach and then taking off and winding up on another planet and having space battles like you said we may have. And your foresight was spot on.
Yeah. Well, we differ in opinion because even though I think the fall of Reach could have been extended a bit, it could have been extended a bit. Overall, last week's episode was intense, and it felt like just a really great episode of Halo that you could go back to and watch all over again. It was just incredibly well done, and somehow they were able to fit just a ton in one episode. This one, I knew after a couple episodes of, action that this one was going to be slower. This is the typical season-long, pacing. You know what I mean? Like, this had to be a reset the table kind of episode because this is going to set in motion the events of how the rest of the season is going to play out. And this was episode 5. I think there's a total of 8, so that's 6, 7, 8 episodes. There's 3 episodes left. This had to be after a big event like that. It happened. It just has to be, as far as just in a writing kind of way, you have to reset the stage. And I feel like they did a good job because they gave us a lot of character growth moments. You got to hear people's dialogue. You got to see characters that we haven't seen together in a while, like Quan and Master Chief. We got to actually pay some respect to Vanek. It wasn't just like leave him. I mean, there was that hell of a scene that informed Riz's character, her getting him. I thought that was badass, honestly, the way she went back and you think, oh, maybe, she's lost, or is the ship going to pull away while she's trying to get him? And then while she has him on her shoulders, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Then I'm like, wait a second, the slow-mo is going a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And like she was shot in the back, and I was like, oh, well, this is how she dies. But then she doesn't die, but then she doesn't go with them. So it's like, it's almost kind of a character death if her, going out to greener pastures with these people or whatever. So that back and forth, I guess, I don't know if it was really well done with Riz, but it was enough to keep me enthralled as far as what was going on with her. I actually like the stuff with Halsey and the different conversations. So for me, I it, it wasn't as exciting as last week, of course, but I actually liked the different scenes. Oh, and the Kessler's parents. You've got
Soren and Laera.
that stuff with them just talking about where they are as a couple, and, I mean, we learned a lot more about their dynamic and, how they
But
f
is it necessary? That's my question. Do we need to know if we're telling the story of Halo and Master Chief, do we need to know a dynamic of a marriage of a character that is such a side character? Or are they setting up to for Soren to be his number 2 now that everyone else is gone?
I don't know what I mean, it just depends on what kinda show you want. Do you wanna watch He-Man and the Masters of the Universe where there's just one main character and he's fighting the bad guys and it's kinda like a Lone Ranger kinda show,
Well,
or do
no,
you wanna
that's why I was
watch,
so bummed that they went ahead and killed off Vanek, and now Riz is gone. I liked
uh
Silver Team, and
yeah,
once again, I watched a preview, and I kinda they gave us the very beginnings of Riz not Riz, Kai at the end of this
yeah,
episode and showed where she
right.
was, but they give us a look to what's happening next, which is should be fun. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's we need. I'm falling into the actual part now where the Halo fans, the trusted like diehards, are
yeah,
wanting more Master Chief to be Master Chief. Give him his suit. Give him the balls to the walls. We know who he is now. We understand this character. We understand his ups, his downs, his humanity. I think they've done a really good job of doing that. I'm ready for him to actually go and whoop some ass, and that's kind of where I'm at because I feel like he got his ass whooped on Reach.
yeah,
So I'm ready for him to do some ass whooping. The only ass whooping we've seen him do was episode 1, the first 5 minutes of season 1 when they
right,
dropped on Madrigal.
yeah.
And then what? The final episode of season 1. So I'm
So
ready for his
you think the episode after he gets his ass handed to him, he should have been badass again? I don't know. I think that should be told in a way that's like more like, because I wouldn't buy it honestly. If he just had his ass handed to him for the very first time, pretty much, because he's the Master Chief, and he just had this incredible loss. This is an episode about grieving, and like to me, narratively, I care more about the story that's unfolding in front of me and not so much about like, let's rah rah, let's go shoot that aliens. Like I don't know. I just totally like I got more out of this episode than you did, I think.
yeah, I don't know. I spaced out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one here just didn't do it for me. And like I said, I just don't know where it missed. And yeah, it's just the whole silver team falling apart and just basically disbanding.
Right.
That was a little bit of a part of it for me. Trying to find Kessler, wasn't clicking with me.
Yeah.
Just the whole episode was almost a miss, and like I'm ready to move forward. Like I didn't know if Halsey was going to mention anything about Soren. Like, why did you
Yeah.
choose me?
Yeah.
Once again, she lied to him because it was going to be Soren who was going to be Master Chief, not John. And since Soren didn't make it through the augmentation, she needed to let him go where he
Yeah.
thought he escaped for John to take that role of Master Chief and believe in himself.
Yeah. Yeah, the stuff with Halsey, I think they've done so much damage to this character where it's like anytime that she's talking, I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. Like I don't I don't know if she's lying. You know what I mean? Like, are you
Yeah.
lying or are you being genuine? Because it's like I thought you were genuine before and you were lying. I thought you were lying before and you're being genuine. Like I never know what her intentions are. And I I I don't know if that's purposeful for that character, if you're not supposed to like trust her or know what her true intentions are ever.
I think that's the case. They're trying
But
to keep it like down that.
that's if that's the case, they're doing a good job, and if that's the case, boy, that's an annoying character that irks me because I don't know which way the wind blows, and I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that character, you know?
Yeah, I kind of like her, but like you said, I understand what you're saying. When she's
Yeah.
talking, it's like, what do I believe? What don't I believe? They have us almost in the eyes of John. Like
Mhm.
we don't know how truthful she's being to anybody.
Right.
And we're not seeing any other interactions with anybody more. With Keys being dead, that was the only actual, I think, truthful interaction she ever had with any character that we've seen. And maybe
Yeah.
even Parangoski. But we know she's basically turned on them and left them all to die.
Right. I kept waiting for her to explore their humanity. I would think as a scientist that she would be fascinated to know what they're going through, because they were robots. She can deny that they were robots, but I mean, they were flesh robots when they had
Yeah.
the pellets in them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I would think that she would be fascinated as a scientist to be like, okay, well, like, let me learn about how these guys are learning about the world around them and how they grieve and how they experience loss. And, but she doesn't really give any of that this episode. She's more
No.
just like, yeah, Vanek's dead. He's a Spartan. We got stuff to do. We got to move on. Like,
Yeah. Well, even when
I,
she saved Riz and repaired Riz, she was like, she'll be out there back in the fight. Riz had other other thoughts. She's like sitting there and she's seeing people wave to her through the window, and she's waving back. And you were seeing,
yeah,
I think she had a line something to the extent of like, grief is something she's going to carry, or something down those lines towards the
yeah,
end.
pain, yeah.
Pain, yeah,
Yeah, and it was like very much, hey, you're gonna have to work a lot harder now because your body is just not quite as good as it used to be. So
or
just
she called
assuming
her a
that she's
nobody. She said, "How do you feel being a nobody now?"
yeah,
I was like, "That's
and then when Riz walks away from her and Halsey kind of looks at her and kind of subtly smiles, maybe. Like, give me a full thing. Either Halsey either smile like you're proud that she's walking away or frown that like you're
you're angry
upset that
she's
she's
leaving."
walking away.
Yeah.
Don't give me this like subtle, like, I don't know. What am I supposed to know about this character?
I honestly think that's a writer's choice. I think
It's gotta be.
they're leading us on with this character, so we don't know what to believe when she's saying something or how she's acting around somebody. Was she truly like interested in the last episode talking to Soren about Kessler and the family dynamic and everything, and then letting him know, the real truth on why he got away? Was that was that a true character beat, or was that something that she was just playing into Soren?
Yeah, it's really frustrating because there are moments when I feel like she actually cares about these kids because she has known them since they were
Mhm.
kids. I mean, how can you not when you've known somebody that long since they were children and you put them
Family
through all
union.
these yeah, and, like, but there are other moments where I'm like, "Oh, she really just is, like, using these like, she doesn't give a shit at all about these Spartans." She's just kinda
Yeah.
like, they're there for a purpose, and that's it. And how can I get both of those from the same character? It really boggles my mind. I don't understand.
I mean, it's a great if it's that's truly what they're doing, it's a great acting job too.
Yeah,
She's acting that line perfectly for what they
yeah.
want her to do, if that's the case of what they're doing here. Uh, what did you think of the actual, like, interaction when Liara was going to save Kessler? Like, never cross a mother. When she's walking in, like, Soren didn't come in, I came
Yeah.
in.
I knew as soon as, like, she was in there by herself and they already had that interaction with that guy earlier in the episode, that was like, "Oh, no, she's gonna be intimidating," which she was. She did a good job, I think, the actress.
Okay,
She was
I buy the never, cross a scorned mother thing.
yeah,
But just a couple episodes ago, we see her pretty much getting pushed around with ease.
right.
So I'm not sure if it's I completely bought it or not. But I like the end
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah, they were convenient to cut where they did because they didn't actually show her being really
Yeah.
intimidating.
Well, did you catch what she said there at the end? Like, who took Kessler? The
Oh, it was,
UNSC?
yeah, yeah.
And
That's a big development.
yeah. And know what that tells me though?
Mm,
That tells me they know that's Soren's child.
right.
And they are also rebuilding the Spartan program. Because if he
Yeah,
had the ability to be a Spartan, you would think his child would have that same ability and be able to
right.
make it through augmentation. Since basically all the Spartans are dead, they need to build that program from the bottom. And I
Yeah.
think Ackerson.
I don't know.
Uh,
Is it Ackerson or Ackerman? I don't know.
well, we'll go with either or right now.
Acker
Uh,
dude.
I think he has a part in the Spartan program.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as front as Halsey was, but I think he knows kind of that system. So I think they're rebuilding it. That's kind
Oh,
of what I
that
got
little
out of
glimpse
that.
at the end, the way I mean, I guess Kai is a pretty prominent figure in whatever, army that he's building going forward. So if he didn't feel that at least I don't know if he really is convinced that they are necessary, but he at least recognizes that the general kind of grunts down on the ground need the Spartans to look up to, that kind of thing. So
Oh,
I
that's how I looked at it. Yeah, she's being
yeah,
used as a figure to keep the Marines
right.
morale up.
And you could see that with all the propaganda that was hanging on the walls with down the hallways that she was walking, like, "Do it for him, finish his fight." I don't know if they're, like, mourning Master Chief saying that he
Well,
died on,
they had those same actual posters on Aleria. When Master Chief was
mm,
standing on the actual porch in the front, he was
yeah.
looking at a few of them where it
Oh, I
was
didn't
his
notice that.
face. Yeah,
Yeah,
so they did a good job of actually playing that in both locations where he
right.
sees it and now he's disenchanted because he knows they left him to die.
Yeah,
And now she's seeing him thinking he's dead. Like
mhm,
she thinks they're all gone,
right.
which I really want to see that character beat. Like, I don't buy she's ignorant enough to know that she was just leaving and helping Ackerman or Ackerson or Acker dude
Mhm.
and not going with her team. You know what I mean? So I want
I
to see what
do. I
that
was hoping to see more of Kai this episode, but I mean, really, in all action, we just saw her walk out of a building. Like, we know she's alive. That's really all we got this episode.
yeah, putting
I
her
need to
helmet on,
hear from
stepping
her.
out.
Yeah. Some other things that I thought the funeral was interesting. I thought Kwan had a really good episode this episode. I mean, the way she insisted on burying Vanek and Master Chief. To be fair, like you said, he was very morose about it. Like, yeah, I don't want to bury him. Who cares?
We've
Because
already
it's
said
like,
goodbye. It's just a body. It's
yeah,
not my friend.
yeah, I really died when I was 6. It was so funny because during that scene where she's like, "Why don't you wanna bury your friend or whatever?" And he's giving her the whole spiel like, "We, our us Spartans, we died when we were 6, and we put that life away a long time ago, and we're already dead." And I like, there was this pause where I'm like, I said out loud, "That's stupid." And then literally a second later, Kwan looks at him, she's like, "That's stupid." I was like, "Yes, thank you, Kwan." Like, what a stupid thing to say. Like, no, it's Vanek. It's your dude. I mean,
Yeah, it's your
like, I get
brother
it.
essentially. Yeah.
I guess I get where you're coming from, but you're not there anymore, dude. Like, this is not what it was before. This is more. And Vanek was close to you, and you just you it and what she said walking away made so much sense. It's like you bury them or they will follow you.
Yeah, that was a pretty heavy line. That was one
yeah.
that when she said it on the show that actually I kind of felt that one. That line hit home.
And I think we were cheated out of a scene of him, Master Chief, joining her in burying. I thought that's what was coming, like, her because when you leave with a line like that, I naturally assume that
He's
later in
gonna
the evening
follow.
yeah, that he's gonna follow and help her, but we don't get there. We're just kinda totally sidetracked by this cult or people, or who are these people with torches
I
that
think they were
came up?
just members of the community on that planet.
Yeah.
I think that's all that truly was, like the religious people on that planet.
I could hear them insisting that she not bury him, though. Like, they were really trying to stop her from burying him, and so I don't know if it has something to do with their tainting their soil, or I think there was something in the background that I just wasn't getting. Or they knew, because ultimately John's like, put him in the sky because he kept watching that bird fly around the whole
Yeah,
episode.
well, yeah, that was just a symbol of Vanek because he had the connection to the animals.
Yeah. So, well, and then eventually he's like, put him in the sky, which I mean, I guess, how do you do that? Do you burn him and the smoke ashes rise up to the sky? I guess that's what it means. But is that what they ultimately did? Did they burn him?
Yeah, they burned him. Yeah,
Okay.
they ultimately
So
because Master Chief went up and he said something,
yeah,
and then
that's
he
right.
dropped the actual like torch into basically whatever was holding the body.
Which I did find that scene interesting too, because I wasn't as rah-rah. Like, you would assume that, like, okay, well, he's going to use Vanek's death as like fuel for him to move forward. But I thought the way it was shot and the way his acting choices were, I felt almost a little uneasy about it. Like, maybe John's taking the wrong message away from this, or like maybe he's gonna be so blinded by just revenge that he's gonna miss the forest for the trees. Like there's just kind of like something's missing here as far as his. I think he does have fuel in him, but he's not pointed in the right direction for that rocket to
Well, he
actually
doesn't
go
have
lands
yeah,
where it needs
without
to.
his, pellet in, there is emotion now. There is gonna be
Yeah,
rage. There is gonna be he is a trained machine, and
yeah,
he just doesn't have his actual gear, and there is nobody with the UMSC that will be able to stop him. There's not Kai, nobody is gonna be able to
yeah,
stop him, with or
yeah.
without a suit. So if, he can rain down hell on them, and there's
Mhm.
nothing they can truly do.
How do you feel about Riz staying behind ultimately? What do you think about her character and the choices she made?
It makes sense with her character. It makes sense with what they've been giving us with her this season.
Mhm.
With her going ahead and meeting up with her friend that was blind and going to the doctor and having looked at, the wound, then being with them at, I don't know where I belong. The character beat hits. It's
Yeah.
like she found where she can actually essentially retire and be somebody within a community and still be a nobody within the galaxy.
Yeah.
So it fit her. I did not mind that at all.
One thing I am a little shaky on this character of Master Chief, and I didn't play the game, so I don't know how close this hits, or if it even does, if they're adding a bunch of stuff to basically what essentially was an avatar, because I don't think there was this much character exploration of Master Chief in the games. I don't know, but when he's having that conversation with Riz, and Riz tells him that I'm staying here, he seems just so ultimately butthurt about it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
which I get because the whole conversation is basically, "I just lost everything, I don't wanna lose you too." They go back and forth, and he is saying everything but that, but that's exactly what he's
Yeah.
feeling and thinking. He wants her to go along until finally he makes the choice like, "Well, she's not going along, so I'm just gonna turn my back to her and walk towards the ship, and we're done." Like, there's no goodbye, there's no, like, good luck, or there's no, like, "I hope you find what you're looking for out here, and if you change your mind, you know where to find," like, you know what I mean? There's no, like,
Yeah.
parting words, it's just like, "Alright, I gotta go." And it's just like, "Okay, alright." I mean, I don't know if that just hit me the wrong way, like, especially for a character, like, as a viewer, I'm like, "I don't wanna see Riz go." Like, will you turn around and just say something to her? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Is this it?" Like, she's just gonna like, so I don't know, that hit me a weird way too, like, John's his learn it's almost the way, like, a child would act, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fitting. I mean,
That's
it's
it.
almost the way a child or a teenager would act, like, butthurt, like, "I'm mad at you, and I'm not gonna take the time to make this right before I leave. So I'm just gonna walk away without saying what I need to say."
Well, he thinks Riz is the last one of Silver Team that's alive. He thinks Kai's dead. He
Mhm.
knows Vanek's dead. Now Riz is walking away. So essentially the last person of his team he feels like is turning her back on him. And I think that's what that was. And instead, like you said, instead of confronting it, he just shut down
Yeah.
and left.
Yeah.
So
And I have to recognize that logically, that kind of makes sense as where they are because they would be somewhat emotionally immature because emotions are pretty new to them.
oh yeah.
So so I have to be like, even though the guy looks like he's 37 years old, he doesn't know how to I mean, really, I mean, besides the fact that he's, born and bred military, which is all kind of emotion suppressing to begin with, even here on Earth, right? But like the fact that he would literally had a pellet that kept him from feeling those things and just recently started feeling those things. I guess he would be somewhat emotionally mature. It just is kind of shocking to see that from a grown man that's supposed to be the hero protagonist of a show I'm watching.
Yes, that was odd. And I can see that. But like I said, as a whole though, this whole episode felt weird to me. Now, we haven't truly talked. I mean, you kind of hinted at Quan,
Yeah.
but where is Quan's storyline going to play into the bigger story? Because there is something coming with her, and I don't
Yeah.
know if we're truly going to get it this season. the way they're building it up, it's almost like they're planting the seeds for her to have something big happen, say in season 3, if we get a season
Mm,
3.
yeah. Well, I don't know because initially, and I forgot about this about her character. She was set up to be like, sort of somewhat of a guide or a leader on her home planet of
Yeah, a
Madrigal.
keeper or something. Yeah,
Yeah, and then we kind of strayed away from that, and she was lost at the beginning of this season. And I even forgot about her role on her planet, but I know they explored it more towards the end of season 1. Um, and this episode makes you think that maybe she has a larger role because they call her the protector. Maybe she has a
yeah.
larger role overall, not just for Madrigal, but like something galaxy wide or humanity wide.
Well,
Like,
she's seen that one lady that's not there. I mean, we've seen her.
yeah, we've seen her. Quan's never seen her, so
Yeah.
that was very interesting. Yeah, that she happened to see her. And she was very confused. I was talking to the dead and, like, talking to spirits something that we knew about her or have heard that she'd be able to do at some point?
No, this is character beats that we're getting little by little pieces.
Yeah,
Like when we seen her back when she was still in the rebel, when she was in that cave looking at that rock and
yeah.
kind of do things like that. It was almost like, I
Mm,
guess, uh, similar to what she would have done maybe on Madrigal itself.
right.
So
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I thought, like, yeah, not only did Quan have some really good dialogue and some character beats in this episode, but they laid the groundwork for some mysteries with her character in particular, to reveal a bit more, and I'm happy that I'm at where she's at as far as, like, I don't know any more than she does right now as far as her role. So I like taking that journey with her, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of going over. I mean, I think we've pretty much. Where do you think? Okay, where do you think we're going to go next episode?
I
Are
don't
they?
know, like, as much as I said that I like this episode and sort of, resetting the table and getting some character arcs, I just, as far as the structure of a season, I'd like to see some ramp up and some character confrontation, like Master Chief having a conversation with Kai, us learning more about Kai, Master Chief getting his damn suit back again. Even though I like the stuff to show him as a vulnerable character, I don't need a ton of that. I don't want that for the rest of the season. So I don't know. Do you think we'll see Master Chief in his Spartan uniform again before the end of this season?
Oh yeah. Well, see, I cheat. I watched a preview.
Ah,
Next
come on.
The next episode, I'm pretty pumped for. But we got actually a comment here from Ramiro. So there's a larger threat in the universe. She seems to be heading towards the reveal of that new threat, likely season ender.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
There
All
we go. A
right.
little bit of insight there.
Oh, how'd you feel? One thing I forgot to mention too was that there was some stuff between McKee and Cortana this episode too that I was thought was fairly interesting. Cortana was just kind of a G, like, I mean, how do you hurt Cortana? Like, throw in the trash, I guess. But at the end of the day, I mean, Cortana doesn't have like this. No, please don't hurt me or kill me. Like, she's like, all right,
Yeah,
whatever. I
McKee
mean,
was talking trash to her. Kind of was like, "Peace," and just
yeah,
took
all right,
off.
deuces, just kind of disappears. And then later, but you could see like when she's not even walking around and she's just in the dial, she apparently hears things what's going on because she makes that image appear right when the
The
Covenant, he has a
Arbiter.
particular, yeah, the Arbiter was about to hurt or kill her. And we can, I think we're led to believe that Cortana is the one to project that image up there
Yeah.
to get him distracted, right? And Cortana and McKee have that moment, and Cortana was acting as protector, and it's just like there was an interesting character beat between the two of them, and I thought, bring me more Cortana. I love Cortana as a character because I just think
She's
I
underused in the show.
yes, because I thought she was just a huge part of the games. Like I don't remember. It was like Cortana and Master Chief, and especially Microsoft. They want to stick Cortana on your Windows machine like crazy. But like I thought she was more involved, and maybe she will be going forward. But I'd like to see more of her. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I looked a little bit more into the Arbiter as well. I think we had
Yeah,
maybe Jeremy who comments on our show. He likes filling us in on some things here, commenting later after he watches it.
yeah,
But the Arbiter, basically, there's been a lot of different variations of the Arbiter,
right.
and apparently it's like a soldier that was dishonored. and it's his last
Uh,
chance to regain his honor. And this arbiter's regain his honor is to kill the demon, who is Master
right.
Chief.
Oh, I see.
So, and when he had a chance to kill Master Chief in the last episode, and
Yeah.
McKee said no, that's that whole interaction that took place on that ship. It's like he would have
Yeah.
been able to go home with his honor, and now she kept him from me being able to do so.
Well, that's interesting that he would listen to her in that moment, but then later, is ready to kill her and strike her down, later on the ship. I don't know. It seems like you're either gonna listen to the lady or not. Like, you listened to her already. I don't know. Christopher's back. I don't think we will see Halo until next season. I don't know. Pie,
Put a
smiley
pie on. No,
face.
I'm just kidding.
That's what he's saying.
I'm not doing that
Oh,
again.
you're not gonna take that bet? Oh, come on. Arbiter is a great storyline, and Cortana is on the shipping downloading all their files. Oh, is Cortana
Oh,
being a spool sneaky spy right now?
I liked that idea. If she's there and she's found a way to get access to everything. Now,
Yeah.
how would she get back to anyone that she can provide that information to? That's gonna be she
I
has to get back in the proper hands at some point.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if it's Master Chief sweet talking McKee again. I don't know.
But, and then I'm like, is Halsey the proper hands? Is who's the proper hands for I mean, Master
John.
Chief,
I think she's gonna be uploaded back into John somehow. I think
yeah,
her and John are gonna become one again, and that's gonna be how the show's gonna continue. Because he's already hinted that he's missing something.
yeah,
Like once he's been a part of him, now it's like he's missing almost a
yeah.
subconscious type of connection.
It's almost as though Cortana doesn't really need the helping hands of a scientist, or because she's got that covered as far as being sneaky if she is stealing data, like maybe a super spy. Like, brain-wise, Cortana's got everything she needs. She needs a pair of legs. Like real life legs to do things, and maybe Master Chief would fit that role for her. Yeah, I think that would be the best fit.
You got a big one there from Romero.
Oh, let's see here. Remember the flashback at the beginning of the episode when yes, I do remember that. It was very
Yeah.
blatant before the opening. Told Cortana she would save Chief, but she'll need to do something for her. Yeah, I was curious about that.
So
I
do you
think
think okay,
I
saying
think
that, do you
Romello's
think
hinting towards
they
something.
then based going on what he's saying there, they purposely left behind uh Cortana knowing should be captured, be taken. And now
Oh,
that she's on the
maybe.
actual Covenant ship, she is now doing the work that Parangoski basically
Right.
had her do.
Right. And I'm wondering when that flashback actually took place. Like, was that before
Was
Parangoski,
it
like, hightailed it off of, Reach, or was that, like,
that was
last
back 6
season?
months prior because it actually
Oh, so
took
that
place, I
was
believe,
last
when they were
season.
severing the connection
Oh,
because
okay.
he was gonna die, but
Mhm.
she saved him because Cortana said, you know, what she said, "I'll help
A
you out if you
little
help him
tit
out,"
for
type thing.
tat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. See, there's a lot of this background stuff that is very interesting. I like how the mystery is unfolding. Maybe next week they'll get you back on track. You'll enjoy next week's episode a little
Based
more.
on what I seen in the preview and the declassified, like, I always push it. I wish we were actually sponsored because I watch it and I love it because it
Yeah,
gives you an interview of 2 people of the cast, and then they give you, basically a preview to next week.
right.
And if you're only gonna watch the preview, check out the preview to next week. It will get you back. It got me ready. It got me pumped up for next week. I'll tell say that
Okay,
much.
good. That's good. All right. Well, speaking of next week, we'll be here next week to talk about Halo Season 2, Episode 6. We are here each and every Friday night to talk about the new episode of Halo that premieres every Thursday on Paramount Plus. Be sure to check it out if you haven't been already. And we are Dadnarok. We do trailer reactions, or typically, if we can. There's been a lot of trailers to drop here recently that we haven't gotten to, but there's a lot of stuff coming out here. I know you started to watch. I started to watch it. Well, we both did the Bad Batch on Disney Plus, which I'm more of a fan of than you. And then there's also a show that you and I have both been looking forward to, Shogun on FX. Maybe at some point we could talk a little bit about your reaction to that.
That
Um,
show is visually stunning. Like, if you're looking for
yeah,
a show that looks beautiful,
yeah.
that's the show for you.
We've also, I mean, this year you're going to see The Boys. You're going to see God, I can't even think of all the stuff that's gonna be coming our way. Oh, Game of Thrones, House of the
House of
Dragon
the
season 2.
Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff coming your way. So be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're getting so close to 500 subscribers. We would love to see it. Hopefully, you can help make that happen. But until then, I guess we will see you guys next week.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week.